I have to tell you, I never read it. I made a decision not to read it. But my husband read it. Anyone who read it got angry, and that's why I decided not to read it. I am a tender soul, and I knew it would hurt me. But my son read it, and he rang me up. He said, "Mum, it's all lies." And my daughter-in-law said to my son, but William, they're not allowed to print lies. He said, well, they have. And I do know there was one situation where I was misquoted. There's the quote that I'm saying that sodium bicarbonate will heal cancer, but as I've already clearly shown you that I've never said that. If I had said that, the HCCC would have had it up there on the film. There was another situation that they misquoted. When my son William was 10, a fish hook went into his thumb. He was playing with a fish hook and the fish hook got into his thumb. I couldn't get it out, so I went to the doctor. And the doctor put some local anaesthetic into William's thumb, did a little cut and pulled the fish hook out and bound up his thumb. There's no need for a stitch. As I'm walking out, the doctor said, has William got his current vaccinations? I stopped, I looked back at the doctor, I smiled, a big smile, which shows confidence. I said to the doctor, my son has been immunised naturally. I'm a naturopath and a nurse. If I have any concerns, I'll call you. And I left very quickly. Now, what did I mean by that? And this is what I obviously said in a meeting that I gave. William runs through the hills. He gets lots of fresh air. He gets fresh water from the garden, from the mountain stream. He eats vegetables grown in our garden, which are incredibly high in minerals and nutrients. He goes to bed early. He is brought up in a home where he's taught the love of God. He drinks adequate water. He doesn't take any poisons into his body. He has no caffeines, refined sugars. That is natural immunisation. But what I've been quoted as saying is, you don't need to take your children to the doctors and vaccinate the mothers, just let your children run through the hills. So
Wow.
You see how
it can be distorted.
I actually took my son to the doctor, and that's what I say to mothers. If you're concerned, take your child to the doctor, have your child assessed. Take the script home with you. Try the natural remedies. If they don't work, use the script. But I have to tell you, I never had to use the script. So it was situations like that, I understand, where I had been totally misquoted. And this journalist did not contact us to find out the truth of the matter. And I'm so sorry that journalist did that, because that is not honest journalism.
No, definitely not.
A recent thing, this happened probably 5 months ago. We'll go back to 2020, where I told you I was the gardener and also training the staff. I was also doing Zooms. I did Zooms to Africa. I did Zoom a couple of different places in Africa. In fact, I did a 21-day seminar on child rearing. I also did Zooms to England, and I did Zooms in a couple of places in the US. So that's 2020. So it must have been February 2021, I received an email from the Healthcare Complaints Commission saying, we noticed that you are doing Zooms. This is your final warning. Any more and you will be put in jail for 3 years.
Oh my God.
I'm not speaking to anyone in Australia, I'm speaking overseas. It was then that my husband said to me, we've got to get you out of Australia. It is not safe. In fact, I had people pleading with me, Barbara, just stop everything. We don't want you to go to jail. I thought jail was for criminals.
What an amazing story. And I think what it's telling us is there's something larger going on here. This is not a Barbara O'Neill exclusive story. This is really, as we said earlier, a symptom of a much larger issue. And while we don't have much more time to cover it today, I just wanted to get your perspective, Barbara, on what's changed with this health message from when you first started to where we are today. I know we're in a global health crisis, and it seems more and more that any room for alternate opinions or different ways of looking how to solve a medical issue is being uprooted and removed completely in a very aggressive manner, leaving no room for anyone to have any discussion on the viability of these methods or the risks that are posed from the methods that are being used to treat people now for the current crisis that we're in. So can you just quickly kind of give us a snapshot of what you think has happened to the health message and maybe why it's happening so aggressively changing to what it is today?
Thanks, Matt. I like your word aggressive because, you see, I used to work in the operating theatre as a psychiatric nurse, and surgery is violent. Now, I'm not against surgery. Surgery's come a long way. If I broke my leg in 10 places, I think I'd appreciate surgery. So I'm not against surgery. And it is something that in some cases it must happen. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And don't we love the drugs that put you to sleep while you have surgery? I have absolutely no complaints about that. But what it is with the natural medicine is it's very, very gentle. And that's what I love about it. And it works with the healing powers of the body. You've got nothing to lose if you try a grated potato poultice and it doesn't work. You've got nothing to lose if you do a sodium bicarbonate wrap and you feel it's not doing a lot. You've got nothing to lose. But with the medical treatments today, if you do it and you decide it hasn't worked, you've lost a lot because of the damage that the medical ones do. So you are right, Matt. There's something more sinister behind the scenes. There must be, for them to be so much opposition against natural methods of healing. I know many naturopaths in Australia who are working, and they say to me, I'm a little bit worried if I'll be taken down. I said, you won't be taken down because your husband doesn't have a political party. So I say to natural therapists worldwide, relax, I believe you're safe. And that's all I ever wanted to be, was just gently and silently and quietly in the background, helping as many people as I can to bring about a healing condition in their body and get relief. That's really what the natural methods do. So you're right, Matt, there's something further afield here, and I think never in the history of mankind have natural treatments been more important, because we're hearing horrific stories about deaths from the coronavirus, about the blood clots. So many things are coming out, and yet there's no side effect from using natural methods of healing. And if 99% of people heal or recover from the coronavirus, and by the way, if their bodies are given the right conditions, they can recover in 3 days instead of 2 weeks. And they're the simple, natural methods of healing. So using common sense, it defies reason that anyone would have a complaint about these natural methods of healing. And I hesitate to say what I'm about to say next. So I'm going to say this was 5 years ago. There were 4 doctors that got me to go to their towns and give these messages, because they know if everyone knew what to do to their bodies when they get sick, casualty visits would drop, doctor visits would drop. How many doctors don't have room to have any more patients? So I hesitate to say it, because far be it from me to put those doctors in a position where they might lose their credentials. So I say 5 years ago because maybe they're not practicing anymore. Maybe they've retired, so they can't be taken down.
So I think the main thing from all of this is that we need to understand our body and just the freedom to choose what route we want to go. Do we want to try certain natural methods of healing that aid the body in healing itself, or do we want to take conventional route? But we at least need that choice. We it's not a free country if we're forced to go a certain way that only benefits a certain group of people.
Exactly.
That's absolutely right. I think well said, Mackenzie. And this is what my husband's political party is about. It's the Informed Medical Options Party. Notice the word informed, notice the word option. It's really a political party that is fighting for free choice. You see, God's government is a government of choice, and it is our God-given right as human beings to be able to choose. If someone chooses the vaccine, I respect their choice. And what I would like is that same respect back if I choose not to have the vaccine.
Hallelujah.
I also was going to say, young people in their 30s and 40s might not recall the Light Horseman. The Light Horseman was a group of soldiers, hundreds, I think it may be even thousands, who fought in the First World War. My grandfather was a Light Horseman. Please Google it. You'll be impressed with this Australian Light Horseman. They were fearless. My grandfather went to war with a total disregard for his safety to fight for my freedoms. Now, my freedoms are being taken away from me. They have been in Australia under the guise of safety.